It was a Saturday night, and I was heading home from a friend's apartment in the city. I wasn't drunk or anything, just tired. It was nearly 1 a.m., too late for the train, so I ordered an Uber. The driver's name was Luis. 4.9 stars. Clean car, silver Toyota Camry. ETA, 3 minutes. He pulled up right on time. The plates matched, the app confirmed it was him, and he gave me a polite nod as I slid into the back seat. I even remember the smell, pine-scented air freshener and something slightly metallic underneath. I put in my earbuds, ready to zone out. That was mistake number 1. We started driving through familiar streets. I lived in a suburb just 15 minutes from downtown, so I figured I'd be in bed before long. But about 7 minutes into the ride, I glanced up and noticed something strange. We weren't heading in the right direction. We were on a darker, quieter road. No cars, no shops. It looked like an industrial area. I leaned forward. "Hey, sorry, did the route change?" Luis didn't answer. He just kept driving. Calm, focused. I checked my phone. That's when I saw it. The destination had changed. It now said, "Drop-off, Quarry Road, 27 minutes." A place I'd never heard of. My chest tightened. I tapped the screen to update the address, but it wouldn't let me. The button was grayed out. I spoke louder this time. "Luis, this isn't the way to my house." Nothing. Not a word. Just 2 hands on the wheel. I started recording with my phone, just in case. Then I quietly opened my Rideshare app and hit the emergency button. It rang. A woman answered, and I whispered, "I think my driver's taking me somewhere I didn't ask for. My name is—" But before I could finish, Luis suddenly pulled over. In the middle of nowhere. No houses, no lights, just empty road and tall, silent trees. He turned off the engine and slowly looked at me through the rearview mirror. That was the first time I saw his eyes. They weren't angry. They were blank, like there was no one behind them. I didn't wait. I flung the door open and sprinted. My phone was still in my hand, flashlight on. I ran through trees, across gravel, not knowing where I was, just trying to put distance between me and that car. I ended up on the shoulder of a highway. A passing driver stopped and called the police for me. They searched the area. The Camry was gone. But here's the part that still makes my stomach drop. When the police pulled my ride history, they said I never got into the car. The trip showed as canceled. And the plate number? Didn't match any Uber driver in the system. I still use ride shares, but only in well-lit places, only with people watching. And if the driver ever says, "I know a faster way," I ask them to take the long way instead. Because sometimes the shortcut doesn't bring you home. I drive part-time for a rideshare app to make extra money on weekends. Most nights are quiet. People going home from bars, late dinners, nothing unusual. But 2 Saturdays ago, something off happened. And it hasn't left my mind since. I started my shift around 9 p.m. It was slow, so I parked near a busy area, kept the app on, and waited. After about 20 minutes, a ride came through. Pickup was nearby. The rider's name? Just a single letter, E. No photo, no reviews. Weird, but not unheard of. I pulled up to the Pin, an alley beside an old bookstore. No one was waiting. I tapped "Arrived" and waited. A few seconds later, the back door clicked open. No one got in, no footsteps. Just the sound of the seat creaking slightly, like someone had just sat down. I turned around slowly. Nothing. I even leaned into the back seat. Empty. But the door was closed now. The app chimed. "Passenger on board. Begin trip." My stomach twisted, but I told myself it was a glitch. I started driving. I headed toward the drop-off, which was across town in a quiet residential area. The whole way, it felt like something was behind me. The car was cold, colder than usual. I kept hearing faint breathing, like someone exhaling gently behind my seat. I turned the music up. The sound faded, until I hit a red light and looked in the mirror. The rear view was fogged up. but only on the side where a head would be, like someone had leaned forward and breathed on the glass. I dropped the passenger off near an empty lot. The second the car stopped, the seat creaked again. The door opened, closed. The ride ended. App said, "Thank you for driving with us." I went straight home. I have a dash cam that records inside the car. I didn't want to check it, but curiosity won. The footage made my skin crawl. At the timestamp when the door opened, the seat indents slightly, like a weight settled into it. Nothing is visible, but halfway through the drive, the camera mic picks up humming, software, slow, a child's lullaby. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I emailed the rideshare company with the ride ID, asked if it was a prank or a test. They responded with this: "We have no record of a rider named E for your account. That trip ID does not exist in our system." They even asked if I had screenshots, like I made it up. I deleted the dashcam footage that same day, but sometimes when I'm driving alone at night, I still check the rearview mirror, just in case, because I know what I felt, and I swear I wasn't alone. I was a college student in a new city, just moved into a tiny apartment near campus. That night I stayed late at the library working on a paper. By the time I packed up, it was almost 11 p.m., and the campus was mostly empty. I didn't want to walk home alone, so I called a rideshare. The app matched me with a driver named Eric, 5 stars, clean profile, silver sedan. He pulled up 2 minutes later, right on time. "You going to Maplewood Apartments?" he asked with a friendly nod. "Yep," I said, buckling in. "I know a shortcut," he added with a grin. "Quicker than what the GPS says." I should have said no. The moment we turned off the main road, the city started to fade. Streetlights became fewer, then none. The buildings thinned out. Sidewalks disappeared. We were deep into a residential area I didn't recognize. Older homes, some boarded up, others completely dark. I checked the app. We were still en route, but the time had increased instead of decreasing. I spoke up. "Hey, this doesn't really look like a shortcut." Eric didn't answer right away. He just said, "Don't worry. This way avoids traffic. It'll reconnect soon." There was no traffic, and we hadn't seen another car in 10 minutes. The air in the car felt heavy. I looked out the window and noticed something that made my stomach flip. We passed a gas station. It looked abandoned. Signs cracked, windows boarded. A minute later, we passed it again. Same building, same graffiti, same broken sign swinging in the breeze. I said, louder now, "Hey, didn't we just pass that?" Eric chuckled. Funny how places start to look the same at night. But I knew it wasn't just similar. It was the exact same station. I pulled up the GPS on my phone. It was spinning, lost signal. We drove in silence for what felt like another 10 minutes. And then we passed the gas station again. Same flickering light, same broken pump. I was shaking now. I opened the rideshare app. The ride timer still ticked upward, but the estimated arrival never changed. 8 minutes remaining, no matter how long we drove. I asked Eric to stop. He ignored me. I reached for the door handle and said firmly, "I'm getting out." Finally, he pulled over. But when I looked outside, there were no buildings, no gas station, no houses, just a narrow road surrounded by dark woods. I stepped out slowly. My phone suddenly buzzed. Signal returned. I sent my location to a friend and started walking toward a blinking streetlight in the distance. By some miracle, a real taxi passed by. I waved it down. The driver was suspicious, but let me in. I looked back at Eric's car. It was gone. The driver said, "You sure you got picked up back there? There's nothing out that way except an old fire road." Back home, I tried to report the ride, but there was no trip history, nothing ever logged, no Eric in my matches, and no recent drivers in my area. Just a message from the app. "Your ride appears to have been canceled." I don't take shortcuts anymore. If I don't recognize the streets, I ask to get out, because when you let someone else decide the route, you might end up on a road that was never meant to take you home.